Day 4 of the Mammoth trip, day 2 of fishing. I'm still in the brace, so we'll see how the fishing goes. Here's our first view of the lake. Here we are. We've tried to come to the far side of the lake. Water looks pretty clear. You can see it's a big lake. It's about 8,000 feet. Not your typical Eastern Sierra high elevation lake that I normally fish. So I'm here with my fishing buddy and his father and his nephew, and they're fishing already. And I'm gonna head down the trail and see what there is to see. This looks like it's a fairly consistent depth, so I'll just do a little prospecting, throw 6 casts out and see what happens. See if I can actually cast with my hand the way that it is. I think it'll be okay. I think the brace is going to keep my thumb immobilized to the point where you know, there's different ways of holding a fly rod and casting, and I think I can do it. So I've made about 6 casts and I'm moving on. This kind of lake, I'll prospect a little bit more just because there's a lot of good underwater structure, and so it works better than, say, the lake that I was at before. Check out this bank of fallen pine needles. There are green needles everywhere. About an inch thick. Pretty cool. Okay, so I've left Logan over there to fish that cove. I want to get to that outlet, or the inlet rather, and the trail goes this way. The trail's looking like it might go farther upstream, so I think I'm going to cut through this little marshy area here. And so for those of you that don't fish, when you're in a lake, one of the better places to fish is going to be the inlet. The moving current brings food into the lake. In the summers, when it's really hot, the moving current provides oxygen to to the lake. And this looks like it's pretty marshy. Let's see. I've been in situations before crossing areas like this where it's actually like 6 feet deep, and what you've got matted weeds on top of matted weeds, and you don't know it until the mat falls out from underneath you. So got lots of logs. This seems fairly shallow though. So I'm here at the inlet. You can see the water's just absolutely crystal clear here. You can see two sandbars, one there and one there. There's a good current there with deeper water on either side. Those are good places to catch fish. This little place over here should be a good place to catch fish, although I'm not seeing any. But it's absolutely beautiful. There's a big mayfly floating there, and it just took off. So I'm out here at the sandbar, and there's not as much current over here as I thought, but the sandbar does provide a nice little wind and current break for the fish. So we'll see how it goes. I didn't have any luck at the inlet, so I'm going to try the creek for a little bit. Small stream fishing is what I really love to do. And I really haven't done that much of it recently. But yeah, you can see there's 2 fish right in there. Not huge, and I may have just spooked them, but you can see them moving upstream there. I probably did spook them, but there's one on the far side, right there. Hopefully you can see him. Anyway, I'm gonna give that a shot. Okay, so I'm crouched here along the stream. There is actually a pretty big fish in there, and you may be able to see it in the previous video that I did. I was looking at a smaller fish that was across stream, and what I didn't notice was that there was actually a bigger fish right in the middle of the stream. So I'm here crouched by the stream. I changed my flies. I've got a small hare's ear. I guess I'm not going to focus, is it? Got a small hare's ear dropper, and then I've got a larger hare's ear. Hopefully I can get my rod over the water and get my cast in before I spook them. If I do that, generally on the first cast is your best chance of catching a fish. I got him. It's about a 14-inch fish, I think. And I didn't find him that long. There he goes. Wow, this creek is just littered with fish. You can see right in there, underneath those branches. And how do you tell where the fish is? You look for the shadow. Look for the little shadow that waves back and forth, and that's most likely a fish. And I'm counting 3 in there. 4. Ooh, and there's a good sized one there too. Right, sort of, right under where this main branch here. You'll see it moving back and forth. That's a good sized fish. I don't know how I'm going to get him out. Maybe I'll try to present from upstream. It'll be tough because if he takes the fly, right? I mean, there's all those sticks in there. I'm going to have to horse him upstream. So I hooked a smaller fish in there, and yeah, with all those sticks, I couldn't get him out. He brushed up against a stick and threw the fly. So I'm going to continue heading upstream because I'm seeing a lot of fish. Okay, here's the thing. I'm seeing a lot of fish here, but knowing that it's got fish that are 14 inches or bigger, what I'm going to try to do is just target those bigger fish. So if I turn the camera around, lots and lots of active fish in here. This is the kind of fishing that I love. I used to do quite a bit of it. Don't do as much anymore, but yeah, small stream, 4-weight line, 7-foot rod. It's a lot of fun. These fish don't give up much of a fight. Okay, I've come across this really good sized fish right there in the center of the pool. And it looks like there are 2 of them. Actually, there are 3. One keeps moving in and out. But let's see if I can catch the one on the top. So I hooked that fish. I didn't land him. I'm sitting here waiting for him to come back, and I think there he is. So I'm going to try him again. I might have to switch flies. We'll see. So here he is. Not quite as big as I thought he was, but that's a decent fish. And this is a blast. So there he is. I guess I've got some water on the camera. These fish are very, very snaky for some reason. So I've been fishing upstream for about 45 minutes, and my friends have no idea where I am. I was out on the lake with them, and then all of a sudden I disappeared. So I'm going to go back and see what they're up to, see if they're ready to go, they want to fish more, they want to fish the stream. We'll see what happens. So I'm back at the lake. Roger apparently caught a 15-inch fish from the throat tube. The fish that were jumping seemed to be just over, there's a drop off, and that drop off, at least for me today, was out of casting range, but apparently he was able to get him. Now this is a better looking rainbow, not a snake. Let's see if I can land him here. That's a better fish. So I went back and I checked on my my friend Roger. I went down there and I'm like, what are you guys doing? He's like, well, I was just about to come check on you. And I'm like, well, I'm checking on you. He said that either I hurt myself or fishing was good because he hadn't seen me for 45 minutes. So I'm sitting here looking at this one pool which just screams big fish, and I haven't seen a single one in here, which just kind of perplexes me. So this run just screams big trout, and I'm not seeing anything. Now, the trout in here are going to be a little bit harder to see because of all the rocks, but I'm just not seeing any active fish in here, and it really surprises me. I mean, you get all this water coming in here, pushing up against that bank. It's got, you know, it's shaded, and that should make them feel secure. I just don't get it. So I've come to another fishy looking spot, and there's a fish right there dead center. That other spot, I didn't see any big fish, but I made a few blind casts and I hooked a fish, but didn't land them. That fish looks like it might be decent size, so here goes nothing. So I missed that fish. There were two fish there, the smaller one next to the big one, and the smaller one took the fly first. But there's a decent sized rainbow under this brush pile here, and I think I'm just going to hang out here and see if he shows himself again. He's downstream of where I was fishing, and when I pulled that other fish downstream so as not to spook that bigger fish, and then I saw this rainbow there. Yeah, there's one right there, and that's a decent sized fish. So that fish, as I was trying to get set, moved upstream and is now actually sitting with the bigger fish, and I've made a half dozen casts at them and they just haven't been on target, and so the fish haven't moved to my fly. I'm gonna switch positions, and if I don't spook them, hopefully I can get into one. That was an amazing take. I must have made 12 casts to that fish and the other fish that was next to it, and they were ignored every single time. But this time I made the cast, and it went just as I cast, he went off to the left, and so the fly drifted just to his right, and he tilted up, and I could see his mouth open, and so I waited for his mouth to close, and I set the hook, and that was it. So yeah, pretty exciting stuff. So maybe I should take a moment to talk about how I approach these streams, and any stream really. And any stream, you should be as stealthy as possible. A stream like this, I'll stand well away from the bank as I'm making my way upstream, always looking at the water in front of me. If I think I see a fish, then I will essentially get down on my hands and knees and crawl to the bank, and then just sit and watch. And sometimes it takes 5 minutes of watching for a big fish to appear, but they're usually there. The other thing that I do is as I'm walking, I've got my rod pointed behind me. If you've got an 8 or a 9 foot rod, in this sort of stream, 8 feet is long. 7 foot would be better. But if you've got an 8 or a 9 foot rod, that rod is 9 feet in front of you, and the fish are going to see that way before they see you. A lot of people will, they'll walk up to a stream and they'll stand right beside the stream and they'll fish, and there's nothing wrong with that. But one of the things that does is it pushes all of the fish that are on the near bank either to the far bank or underneath the rock. So if you've got big fish that are sitting on the near bank and you walk up to it, they're gone. And on larger rivers, why make a 35-foot cast when that same fish was 15 feet away from you had you just taken your time, crawled up to the bank, sat there, watched, waited for it to show itself. So Anyway, that's my approach to fly fishing, and that's how I've been approaching this stream. And it's been a lot of fun. Another thing I should point out is, use the shadows. You can see right there, there's a big patch of sunlight in front of me. I'm staying in the shadow so that the fish don't see me as readily. I'm looking at that little run there to see if there's any fish. And, I'll stand here for a while just watching it, just to see if I see anything. Because as soon as if I walk into that sunlight, the fish are gone. So, I want to know they're there before or not there before I make any motions or any movement. So I've been walking for about 5 minutes, and the stream looks like it's become really choked off. If I hadn't had the day that I had, I'd probably bushwhack my way and try to find some open water. But had a great day today, and I'm more than happy with the number and the size of fish I caught. Especially for the first outing of the year. This has been great. Ooh, here's a fish.